Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to look at the New York strip steak. At least that's what we call it down here in Texas. It goes by a couple other names. It could be the ambassador steak, the boneless club steak, hotel style steak, Kansas City steak, top loin. But like I said, we call it the New York strip here in Texas. It's the long side of the T-bone steak. If you guys are familiar with the T-bone steak, the other side's the filet. So it's the long side of the T-bone steak. Maybe we'll cook one of those here in an upcoming video. We're going to get the butter going. You're going to want to make sure the butter covers the full side of the pan. Swirl it around. The handle of the cast iron pan does get hot, so just remember that when you're handling the pan. All right, so let's let this butter keep going. We want to get a good brown color on there. This is an important step. You want to make sure you bring your steak out of the fridge early. You want to bring it up to room temperature before you cook it. Then we're going to go ahead and season it right before. You don't want to season it beforehand or anything. You want to season it right before you're going to put it in the pan. We're using a Himalayan coarse ground sea salt as well as a kosher fine grained sea salt and some black pepper. You want to make sure that you do that right before you put it in the pan because it can have a tendency that salt can draw out moisture and dry out the steak. So butter's looking good, so let's go ahead and put it down into the pan. We're going to put it seasoned side down first and just set it down there in the pan. And make sure it's seated well. You want to have a nice even crust and a good even cooking, so make sure it's all touching. We got a good sizzle going there. So this steak is a Prime 1 steak from our local H-E-B here in Katy, Texas. They have a lot of variety as far as steaks go. They have everything from select all the way up to Wagyu. So we might do a video on that, kind of showing the different grades of meat. But we want to make sure we get a good sear on there so the pan's really hot. It's on high. Again, you want to make sure you're watching it since it's on high. But let's go ahead and get a little salt and pepper on this other side. Gives us the opportunity while this is cooking to season the other side. As one of my favorite TV chefs from back in the day, Emerald Lagasse, used to say he didn't like one side seasoned steak. So we're going to put some seasoning on this side as well. We're using the coarse ground Himalayan sea salt as well as the fine grained salt and pepper again. And just pat it in. That way it sticks as this side as well. Same technique as the other side. Got a question last week of what I was going to eat the steak with. Doing a sauteed broccoli, just a little butter and garlic in the pan. I put the lid on so it gets a little steam, but you want to start that about halfway through the steak. All right, if you try to wiggle the steak and it releases pretty easily, you know you got a good crust on there. So you can go ahead and give it a flip. Yep, and we got a really nice crust on there, nicely browned over. There's a little spot there in the middle. I think I'm going to give it a little bit more time. Like I said, we're working towards a medium rare steak today. So I'm going to break it up into 5 minutes on one side, 5 minutes another, and then another two. So a total of 4 flips, but a total time of 7 minutes on each side. All right, that's been 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and flip it again. See, it releases like that, just slides easily. Let's give it a flip. Perfect. Nice 5 minutes. Same colors. Got a little bit light spot, so that other 2 minutes on the other side will work out great. Got a good smoke going, good sizzle going. Again, you're going to want to have a well-ventilated room. I'm going to add a little bit more butter because I think I'm going to do some mushrooms in here. So let's... I'm going to cut up some mushrooms and cook some mushrooms in beef fat. I got a lot of questions on the last video of why I decided to cook in a cast iron rather than on a traditional propane grill or even charcoal grill or something like that. The main reason is the steak cooks in its own juices. On a grill, it kind of drips down and burns off. This it traps the juices inside and lets the steak cook in its own juices. And I just feel like that gives it so much more flavor, and then also, you know, just kind of gives you a juicier, more delicious steak. So I've chopped up these mushrooms. This is just 2 mushrooms, chopped up, sliced actually, not chopped. But I'm going to throw them in the pan here. for the last 2 minutes. They don't really take that long to cook, because especially we got all this beef fat and butter going in here. Just move them around just so they don't get stuck, and also so they get a nice even coating of the butter and beef juice on there. They'll cook up pretty quickly. You can see there we got them pretty cooked up. I'm going to put them over here kind of in a little pile, stack them up together so they can steam a little bit, get a little more cooking to them. These mushrooms are looking about done. They're kind of nice and juicy and full of that beef juice. They do suck up a lot of the beef juice, but I'm going to go ahead and take them out. It's got about another maybe 10-20 seconds on this side, and then we can go ahead and pull the steak out. Again, you're going to want to let it rest. You want to let it rest for at least 1 minute to 2 minutes so those juices can redistribute, so that heat kind of pulls it out. You want those juices to go back inside the steak. All right, so let's go ahead and cut into here. We're looking for a medium rare. That's a good medium rare steak. I like it. Be pretty happy with that. I think we could maybe done a little less time, but that's a good medium rare steak. It'll be delicious. So I cut it into nice little even pieces like this. Split the steak. You know, this is enough steak. Definitely feed 2 people. So you can cut it in nice even strips like that. And I'm going to show you guys how to plate this up and impress your friends a little bit. So you put the broccoli in a little pile, fan out the little pieces of steak. Then you can just take the mushrooms, put them at the top of the steak there, and throw a little bit of parsley on top to just add a little color. Then I chopped up some parsley and just sprinkled that around the plate, just a little more color. And then to finish it off, just sprinkle a little paprika on the edge of the plate, and makes it look really nice. Thanks for watching, everyone. Tune in next week where we'll take a look at another one of the beautiful steak cuts. Thanks for watching SteakMaker. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you'll know when I post a new video.